Okay, we're back for part two of part two. So I guess we're on 2B um, for talking about neurodivergence and designing and decorating for the holiday space. So I want to resume that with you guys. Welcome back. I hope you are enjoying a lovely holiday. And if you're not, I'm sending you a boatload of love. Let's dive right into our content. So the last segment, we were ending with this really funny little layout that I shared that, again, is not literally representative of what I would recommend doing in space, but kind of gives you an idea of like what different zones could look like in a way in space, and it gives you something to visually anchor in. So then let's dive into principle 3, soundscapes with consent. So the goal of this, treat sound as a design material, not background chaos. Strategies drawn from sensory-friendly guides and noise health research indicate using sound-absorbing materials, rugs, curtains, acoustical panels, tablecloths, and more. And keeping the background music low enough for conversation, avoid high-pitched or percussive tracks for long periods can be helpful. My fur baby says hello again. You could hear her. I'm not sure. Another option, and this isn't necessarily like a space or an environment, but I just thought this was so cool. And also, I'm not as of the date of this recording, I'm not affiliated with Loop earplugs, but I will say they are amazing. I love them. I have 2 pairs of my own that I need to go find because I misplaced them. But offering earplugs like that or noise reducing headphones in a visible basket, super awesome. Post when like chef's kiss. Capping the room density can also help. Consider staggered arrival times to avoid crush points. A good kind of overall point is less noise is going to mean for a lot of people less cortisol elevation, fewer conflicts, fewer meltdowns, more comfort, and more staying power. And these are all the things that we are probably looking to create, unless, of course, well, I don't know, maybe Metza on the staying power. You know, we talked about having a time frame. So staying power to a point, something that I think most of us would want in this situation, but not too long, not too long. Especially, I don't know if you're anything like me, I'm more introverted and I definitely have a battery that expires. It just says, nope, we're done. And and then that's it. So principle number 4, visual and olfactory load. Olfactory load, if you're not aware, will refer to like your sense of scent. So the goal is to maximize warmth, minimize overwhelm, reduce visual clutter, fewer larger decor pieces instead of cover every surface, limit fast blinking lights, choose steady or slow twinkle, and color, again, leaning on softer palettes and natural materials, not only hypersaturated in the red green, which is very common this time of year, and it's beautiful. But again, it's about balance. So we have to figure out, what's going to work out for us and our people. But that is one thing I would say is a good idea. Principle 4, continued smell. Oh, this is a big one. Strong scents, like strongly scented candles, plugins, heavy perfumes, etc., can be triggering for folks with migraines, asthma, autism, sensory sensitivities. And I love a good candle. I really, really do, but it can be really overwhelming for some folks. So maybe consider going not unscented or like subtly scented, to keep that reasonable, and minimize food aromas. We talked a little bit about what we could do earlier. Do you have to keep the food out the entire time if the party's going on, or can you maybe keep it in another room? Because again, those food aromas can be amazing and sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming, folks. And another thing you can do is connect to research about sensory overload in holiday environments. multisensory maximalism can tip people into shutdown or panic. So again, just as I did in the last part one of this presentation. Hi, come here. We'll stop at the end so that I can show you the references so that you can maybe do your own research if you want to. Okay, I've got a very persistent fur baby. Come here, honey. Okay, let me turn on Alexa, turn on second plug. It's starting to get a little dark here, so let me turn this on. Okay, great. You've got sunset vibes here where I live. Okay, so principle 5, goal would be normalizing choice and divergence based on clinical holiday overload guidance and sensory processing research. Building predictable mini rituals is great. A quiet opening, acknowledgement, moment of breath, a grounding, simple reading, right? So if you find it helpful for you and your people, again, some sort of grounding exercise can be really helpful. Gentle closing, gratitude circle, soft music can be helpful as well to close out the event. And also help you with that time frame container that we talked about. Principle 5 continued. Oh, your paws are cold, honey. Your paws are cold. So cute. My babies are so cute. Come here, baby. So continuing on principle 5, routines, rituals, and opt-outs. Explicitly invite opt-outs. You know, the way we communicate is so important with this too. How we communicate through our environment, but also how we verbalize, how we might text that information to people, share it. You know, you're welcome to step out or into the quiet room at any time. Joining in games and gift exchange is optional. Like taking the pressure out of these interactions as much as possible, setting a new and different expectation and tone, really, really helpful here. Signaling inclusivity for people, skipping hugs or physical touch can be helpful because people do have trauma and or preferences around that sort of thing. People leaving early, people who don't celebrate that holiday for cultural, religious, or political reasons. Again, taking out as much pressure from the process as possible. Try saying that 10 times fast. So this is, in a way, this is designed as consent practice, right? So there's that too. So bringing this all together, closing out part 1 and the 2 parts of part 2, trauma-informed neurodiversity affirming holiday design, bringing it together. We've got a bunch of things to consider, right? Risk and reality. We have, well, society has drunk driving and health events, grief, estrangement, and violence that could happen for people, sensory overload and stress physiology. These are all things that people could be going through, right? And so I think it's important to get very real about the holidays because they are often merry, but sometimes they are not. And we've got to be sensitive to that. So some design moves that keep those things in mind: predictable layouts and clear info, sensory zoning and quiet havens, tuning sound, light, scent, and density in, and rituals with built-in opt-outs, especially for our neurodivergent folks. Outcomes are lower stress load, greater sense of safety and belonging, holidays that are mindfully merry and not performatively so. And so I'd like you to consider, as we begin to close this out, how will you design this season? Or is there anything, if maybe you've already designed and you're looking to make a few tweaks to finalize what you've already done? So I would invite you to consider, what is maybe one policy you'll change about how you're hosting or decorating? Alcohol, timing, lights, colors. One sensory shift you'll make, right? Light, sound, density. One trauma-informed signal you'll add. Oh, you know what? I mischaracterized that. One policy you change, yeah, alcohol, timing, directions, instructions, sensory shifts you make are those are the lights, your sound, your density, and your colors, etc. One trauma-informed design signal you'll add, right? And also our neurodivergent refuge areas, quiet room, hotline info, opt-out language. Consider those. What will you choose to do? I would love to hear from you in the comments, how you might consider incorporating some of these strategies this year or in future years. What's helping, what's landing? What do you still have questions on? Let me know. Would love to hear from you. So references, I'm just going to pause on these so you can take some screenshots. If you want me to copy and paste a list, I'm happy to do that as well. Just email me, info@kdtt.com. But this is page 1 of references. This is page 2 of references. Page 3 of references. Page 4 of references. Page 5 of references. Page 6. And page 7. And these are the references for part 2. There was a whole different set of references for part 1. So if you missed those, recommend going back and checking those out. And let's close with this quote. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Are you holding my hand? You're so sweet. Let's close out with this quote because again, this is a time of year that can be wonderful, but it can also be hard. And this is from a wonderful movie called Amelie. If you haven't seen it, it's a French movie. So if you are English speaking, you'll want the subtitles. Beautiful movie though. And the quote from it is, "Times are hard for dreamers." And I certainly feel that right now. And it makes life seem a little bit bittersweet sometimes. I don't know if you've ever felt that way. Living as a sincere, romantic, sensitive person in a world that doesn't honor those things at all, usually. If that's you, hi, nice to meet you. Me too. And let's show ourselves some love this holiday, whether we are looking forward to spending some good times with friends and family, or whether we're planning to hang out solo. I hope it's beautiful, and I hope you experience love in whatever way makes sense for you this year and beyond. So, wishing you a pleasant holiday. Great. Thank you again for joining, and it's been awesome sharing these tips with you. I'd love to hear what was helpful, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.